Hi there, it's Kirsty here. I'm here with this short video. I'm going to show you some different lunge variations. There's loads of variations we can use, and it's up to you just to find whichever one works best for you on the day, depending on how you're feeling. Have a play around, get creative, and feel free to try different options. You're not limited to just one. I often mix mine up. Our body loves variety. So the first option we're going to take, you might like to have a cushion, a yoga block, a towel, or a blanket handy to help you with some support. I have a cushion here that I'm going to use. You don't need it, it's just entirely up to you. So the first option, we're going to come down onto the mat, and you can make your way down whichever way is best for you. And we're going to come into a low lunge pose. So the cushion, blanket or towel, you might like to pop under that back knee for some extra padding, just to support that knee. We're going to firstly look at our torso. So we want to be in a neutral position with our torso. So skull over shoulder blades, over lower spine. We want to look at our chin being neutral, our gaze straight ahead for this low lunge pose. And then we're going to bring our hands to those bony points of the pelvis, those ASIS. We're going to level those out. So we want that neutral pelvis. Now your body may try and compensate there. You might notice mine has. So your ribs might begin to flare. You might begin to arch in the back. So just draw that back in. And that's what we mean when we say draw those ribs in, create an energy in the lower belly. We're also going to squeeze our glutes and engage those muscles to support that lower back and also the pelvis. So ways in which you can do that, you might like to prod your bum and just check that the muscles are working. And you can gain that sensation of stability in various ways. We're all going to find different ways work best for us. So you might like to have that back foot curled under so that you're resting on your toes. That might create some stability and help you to get those glutes working. Alternatively, you might like to untuck the toes and press down into the foot. I quite like imagining that I'm squeezing something in between my thighs and pulling that front heel back towards my hip. I'm not actually physically moving, but it's just that sensation in the body. And the more you begin to tune into these subtle sensations, the more awareness you'll get of your own body. So this is our low lunge variation. Take anything you need underneath that back knee for support. Alternatively, you might like to have something handy that you can rest on for support, but just make sure you're not completely leaning into it. You're just using it as a support base, but you're still maintaining everything else in neutral. So I've got my hand on the wall here. You might have a chair handy that you can lean on. You might like to just rest on that knee. But again, if you are slumping in, just try and bring some activation back. So option one. Another option is we take a high lunge. Particularly, this is great if you have trouble with your knees or you struggle to get up and down quite quickly. Then a higher variation might work for you. This also could be a bit more powerful and strenuous. So again, if you're feeling more high energy on a particular day, then maybe this is the option you choose. For this pose, we're going to keep our knee over our ankle. It's not detrimental if it goes forwards. We do this motion often, particularly if we're walking upstairs. It's not detrimental at all, and it will just depend on what range you have in your surrounding joints. However, for this purposes, we are just going to keep 90-90 just to make sure that the body is biomechanically how it was built. So joint over joint. Again, we want that neutral pelvis. So those two bony points are level and pointing forwards. We're going to create that energy in the lower belly and also in our glutes. And again, create maybe a sensation of squeezing those inner thighs together, pulling that front heel back. You might like to keep a buoyancy in the back knee. You might like to use something to rest on. So take any options you need. Step it in. The next option we're going to explore is using a chair. I'm just going to wiggle that out of the way. So option 1 with a chair. We're going to use it to support our pelvis. So you might come and sit fully on the chair, and we're going to take a 90-90 with the knees. So the front knee comes forwards. You might like to wiggle forward so that you can flatten that front foot. And back part of the pelvis is also supported by the chair, but we've just got that knee bent 90 degrees and on the back foot. Again, feel free to hold on if you need to for support, or untuck that back toe. For me, it feels better with my toe tucked in this variation, but have a play and work out which one works best for you. If you want to take it a little further on the chair and take another option, then maybe you just wiggle the back part, the back legs pelvis off of the chair, and you just have this front pelvis supported. So I'll show you the other way. So we have this front part of the pelvis supported, but our back leg is off and the opposite side is off completely here. So this is another option. Alternatively, you might just use this chair as support. So you might come into your lunge pose using the back of the chair or stool as your support method. Stepping back, keeping everything else neutral, keeping the glutes fired, maybe giving them a little poke, maybe imagining you're squeezing something in between your thighs, and just lightly resting the hands on the chair or a wall for support. So there's a few different options for you to try. Again, get creative. Maybe you find other ways that you can get into this pose. They're all working the same muscles. They're all doing the same thing. So there is no one good, bad, better than the other. It's whatever works best for you on the day.